kesuta yadibaha. Mandiku satu brahatu rede bahaya duze vandiku sharede brahaya. Neketu sufare bende zizubale kesuta yadishaha. Vaku sete bere munda rede brahaya duze fentuli de buskitaha. Jene mekepura de bara duze bare ketusa yide vende kusa. Rakapatu subrahandu jekesu tu brahatura. Ibarekesu tu brahandu jekesu satale de bunzeheyaha. Nemakatu subaredu zikufa rede brahatu sayadibaha. Meketu satere de brahandu sheketu subrahatufa. Nele de beshikatu rade bahaya dunzeketu sabrahaya. Lendeziku barede zizemendu kusha faledu zeketu yaha. Nekesutu brahatu severi kaparu zeteshimandi yadibaha. Zufa lede brahinza ture de brahantu seketu sayadibaha. Manda kuse brahandu shekeli bruzata yadibaha. Vene kusata yadibru shatali mahandi kusa yadibaha. Kara de brahande zikura bashekusa ibrahatu mahaya. Vekusa tabaliku setubrahatu shale de baha. Mande kusa teleketu satayi de brahatu saparede shahaya. Yes, Lord, we give you praise. We thank you, gracious Father. Thank you for your word this year and amen. Thank you because our heart is a fertile ground for your word. We are not forgetful hearers, but we are doers of your word. We give you all the praise. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed.
Praise the Lord. You may sit down. So this is leadership spiritual. Do you have another microphone? Okay, yes, don't worry. What did we study last leadership special? I know it's a relatively long time, but I just hope you still have that in your head. What did we talk about? Leadership authority. And just a recap, what does that mean? What did you get from that, if you can remember? If anybody can just give us a recap of what leadership authority was about the last time we shared. Nobody. Well, the seminar ago, you don't understand what it was. Are you reading from your phone?
I came in late that day. I just got a few. I wasn't able to go back to the seminar.
You came in late that day?
Yes, sir. I've not gone back to the message.
But what did you get for the late part of?
Okay.
You can't remember. So you don't know what leadership authority. You don't know what it means. Okay, let's go over to this discussion. So we're talking about leadership values. So first of all, what is a value? What is, or you can define values for me. Values. Yes. Don't say values mean the thing you value. But that will not help anybody.
Values are personal preferences.
Thank you. Any other way to put it? Values.
I would say they are one's fundamental beliefs.
Somebody's fundamental belief. Somebody's fundamental. So what will you call convictions? Why I say what will you call convictions? I'm using that word. Seems like that's what you describe. So you are saying beliefs and values are the same thing. Because if you say somebody's basic or fundamental belief is their value, so are you saying beliefs are the same thing as values?
I would say yes.
Okay. What are values? Who else can try? These are English words. They are not Spanish. Or maybe you're suddenly busy. Yes. Values are what? Okay. What we consider to be very important. Okay. What is, so let's write it. Where do values come from? Values are personal preferences. Huh? We did, when you did economics, there's something they call opportunity cost, right? What did they teach you then? Is what? Opportunity cost is the alternative forgone. Wonderful. Or maybe you just sort of lament with the shaking of your head, looking away. There's something you want to say. That's what you are. You're trying to remember what first? Opportunity cost. You did it, eh? Huh? It is in business study. Values. What is a principle? Yes, you want to move. A principle. Yes. I like you. The way you are volunteering, asking questions, you're very generous.
Principles are foundational laws.
Principles are foundational laws.
Yes.
Okay. So let's give principles are foundational laws. Principles are foundational laws. So, is there a relationship between principles and values? Let's say we have a table where you have principles here and you have values here. Give me an example of a principle. And yes. And then let's try see what's an example of a principle and an example of a value. Amamu, when will you volunteer? Yes. What's an example of a principle? Yes.
The law of gravity. Everything that goes up must come down. I think that is a principle.
So gravity, or the law of gravity.
Said the law of gravity. Gravity. Gravity.
Hmm?
Yes, gravity.
So gravity is a principle. Give me an example of a value. You said what? Yes, yes. Honest. What's the difference between these two? They are not related anyway, but I've just. Can we see a difference between. So let me ask this question. Can honesty be a principle? Can gravity be a value? What do you think? Which context? Discuss what we're discussing. Don't put them in boxes. What do you mean by within this context?
Can I also
Mom
ask
was
that
laughing at you.
can a principle be a value?
Yes.
Yes, so that's what I'm trying to say. A principle can be a value, but and the other way around.
And the other way around. So the distinctive difference between a value and a principle is?
One determines function.
One.
Principle. Principle determines function. Why value is.
No, if you want to compare, you
Okay.
continue with there's what we call logical fallacy. One determines value, the other will now put determine, because
Okay.
that's where you are leading us to think.
Okay.
Is that not?
Yes, sir.
Why are you smiling? You started it and you couldn't end, so you were going
No,
to
I'm
find a new way out. One determines, or you want to start afresh?
One determines function,
The other determines.
and the other one.
So, how does value show up in leadership? Principle. How does principles and value show up in leadership? Are they applicable to leadership?
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How?
Okay. Principle is principle is
Maybe I
neither.
should put another category here.
Okay.
Let's give an example of a skill first. So gravity is a principle. Honesty is a value. What can be skill?
Communication.
Communication. Let's say driving. Is that okay?
Yes.
Example. So let's even leave this.
Okay.
Go on, please. Go on. Don't
Okay.
bother about me.
So let me try and answer the first question, how the difference between principle and value. Like, one determines consequence, why value, that which is principle, and value determines the kind of consequence, either positive or negative.
You try. Where is principle found? And where is value found? Yeah. Microphone, please. Sorry.
I think principle is external because they are universal. Why values will be internal because they are personal.
That's a very good observation. Principle are what?
External.
External. But values are
Internal.
internal. You're right. So, principles are found in.
They are basically universal.
I'm talking where they are found. Principles are found in, while values are found in. Use that.
Okay.
Principles are found in.
Values are found in individuals.
In people, right?
In people, yes, sir.
Principles are found in.
Principles are found in nature.
Stand up. Carry the mic. It's your turn now. You have. I don't like whispering. It doesn't help. It don't make people learn. Yes, continue. You said values are found in. No, principles are found in
nature.
in nature. So principles can be called
Laws, fundamental laws or foundational
What
laws.
is a law?
A law
Who else? Who can help? You see, you were whispering now. It has come to you, and nobody whispered back to you. What I asked? What is a law? A law is what? Who can help? What's a law? I didn't ask what they can do with it. I said, what is a law? We use all this every day. She's asking to be relieved. What is a law?
I said it can be written rules.
Oh, a law is written rules. Wow. So if it's not written, it's not a law.
It's okay, it can actually be written or not written, but in most cases,
Why not say binding?
okay, let me give instance. Let's say,
I was trying to help. Give an instance.
okay, for non-written laws, it can be the ones at home, like
The
the
ones
rules.
at home.
Yeah, like the rules you place at home for your kids to.
So, okay,
To
so you
abide
are
with.
saying a law can be written or non-written rules.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
But if you use the words binding rules, will it not cover both?
Sure.
That's what I was trying to say. Okay, binding rules still doesn't say that. I'm teaching leadership. Are there leadership rules? That's the question. Yes. Leadership, does it have rules or laws?
Okay. Leadership. Although I came late,
If,
but
no, I've not defined anything. No. Just trying ahead, so nobody has been helped. Yes.
okay. What's the question
The
again?
question is, we want to study leadership values.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm saying we need to understand, okay, so let me put an introduction. Leadership development, if you want to grow as a leader, there are 3 aspects you will need to grow in. One aspect is the principles of leadership. You need to understand them.
Okay.
The other aspect is the skills of leadership. You need to understand them. The third aspect is the values of leadership.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. The values of leadership. And these 3 aspects, which is value, principles, and skill. You can put them anyway, okay?
Okay.
These 3 aspects, they relate to 3 fundamental aspects of leadership development. One is heart-related. That's values. It's heart-related. The other is head-related, which is principles, rules like we're talking about. The third is, we use the word hand-related, which is skills. So a leader must grow heart, head, and hand. Do you understand what I mean?
Sure. Yes.
If you want to develop and be an effective leader, you must be growing in principles, values, and skills. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You must be growing in, values, principle, and skill. Whatever sequence you use. Do you understand?
Yes,
You must
sir.
be growing in the aspect of leadership that addresses heart-related subjects. You must be growing in aspects of leadership that addresses head-related subjects. And you must be growing in aspects of leadership that addresses the hand-related subject. Many times we are told to brought to leadership classes and we are not taught this. And because we are not taught this, we don't know what we are supposed to be doing to grow. Is that not? Because leadership development is the acquisition of leadership principles, the cultivation of leadership values, and the practice of leadership skills.
Okay.
Do you follow?
Yes, sir.
So I'm trying first to show us the difference between what a principle is from what a value is. And he said values are universal laws, so they are external. Sorry. He said principles. Principles are universal laws. Sit down, please. Principles are universal laws, so they are external. They are built into nature. So that's why I said, what is a law? You said this. non-written rule, but I would say it's operating principle. Do you understand what I mean? That definition holds true. But a better way to put it is the way things are built to work, not the way you want the thing to work. If you want to grow as a leader, the concept of leadership, you need to understand how it is designed in nature to work. Do you understand what I'm saying? So which means that is not something you will create. It's something you will find out because it is not up to you. Principles are in nature. However, values are in people. So values now are not universal or fundamental laws. They are personal preferences. You see, values are in people, but principle is in nature. You can adopt, when you can adopt a principle to be a personal value. Do you understand? Actually, integrity is when you find oneness between how things work and how you work them. Do you understand? When your value is in line with principles, you have integrity. Do you understand what I mean? So, values are in people. That's why values will vary from one person to another, but principle will not vary from one person to another. And because principles are the way things work, built into nature, we can't break them without consequence. Does that make sense? You can't break the principles of leadership without consequence for breaking that principle. So many times when we say, why is it not working? It's because it's not the way it is designed to work that you are operating it. You may think it should work, for example. You may think you should be respected because you are good to somebody. And the principle of respect is not tied to being good to somebody. Do you understand what I mean? But you value being good to somebody as what should make respect. So it means that your value, which is your personal preference, and the fundamental laws for respect are in conflict. And principles will always trump values. Do you understand what I mean? So, how things work, how we work things. Okay, and the third is skills in leadership. There are leadership skills. So there are leadership principles, leadership values, and leadership skills. Do you understand? There are leadership principles, leadership values, and leadership skills. So leadership development is the development of the 3 dimensions of leadership. Do you see that? Do you get it? It's just like, let me give you an example. It's like personal development is spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. Is that not? Personal development is development of the person. The person has more than one dimension of his person. He has the spiritual dimension. He has the mental dimension. He has the emotional dimension. And then he has the physical dimension. Don't add financial. That's not personal development. That's financial development. Do you understand? Because personal development is development of the person. Right? So, leadership development is the development of these three dimensions of leadership, which is the value dimension, the principle dimension, and the skills. So for an ordinary person who say, I want to grow in leadership, where do you think they start from? What is the wise place to start from? Give her a mic. You are too fine to be quiet. Where should they start from? Because I'm hoping you have heard me up to this point. Give her a loud mic. Yes.
Principles.
Yes. You want to learn a thing, you read the book first. Is that not? You know how the thing works. Is that not? So, where are we going to find leadership principles if we want to learn leadership principles? In all my years growing as a leader, many times when people sit people down in an organization, maybe in a church, and they say leaders meeting, they really don't talk about leaders. They talk about administration of the church. They don't talk about leadership development. They talk in respect to the cadres of the leadership in that organization. They are not dealing with the concept itself. That concept first needs to be understood. First of all, if you want to study something, you want to know what the thing is. What is leadership? These are questions I asked myself and I found answers to. What is leadership? We all may be thinking different things, thinking we're talking about the same thing. Is that not? What is leadership? Yes, Delight. What is leadership? You are mine. It's been a long time I heard your voice, only in singing.
Good evening, Pastor.
Yeah.
Leadership is a capacity to lead people positively.
I will hold your neck. I've told you in this church, if I ask you to define a thing, you don't use the word in the definition. That's a cop-out. Leadership is the capacity to lead people.
Leadership is the capacity to give instructions or directions positively.
Where did you get that thing from? Okay, that's obviously wrong. Somebody has to. Yes, red cap. Leadership capacity. What is leadership? You see now? Because, by the way, where do we get our definition of leadership from? From our observation and the things we've been told. So anybody can say leadership is okay, go on. The country, I think your mic is not on. Put it on. Okay.
Leadership is the ability to guide or to influence people towards a common goal.
Good. Leadership is the ability to guide or to influence a people. What are you looking at? Are you looking for affirmation?
No, she was saying something.
She was saying something. Give her the mic. Say, I want you to add it well. Give her the mic. Anybody who teaches from behind will teach publicly. Oh yeah? What is leadership?
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Good Pastor. Okay, leadership is the ability. I just want to add inspire.
You are adding it now. You are adding it now.
Ability to inspire, influence people towards a common goal.
Good. When is your turn? The mic didn't work. Okay. All right. So if you notice, we all have an idea, and that's the problem. If you want to be deliberate about life, you can't stop at having an idea. You need to know what you're dealing with. Because when you stop at having an idea, you are dealing in presumptions. Is that not? And usually the idea you would have will be useful. I bet the things you said as the definitions, if I ask you another time, you will say other things. Is that not? They will be related, but you will say other things. Am I correct? Why is that so? Because you are not students. You are not students. You are not yet serious with the ideas that sit in your mind. If you are serious with the ideas that sit in your mind, you will always seek to clarify your thoughts. And once they're clarified, you will own it. You find yourself repeating it over and over because they are not just academic response. It's something useful holds a space in your mind. And that's the difference between one person and the other person. Leadership, let's tie all of them together. So leadership is everybody says leadership is an ability, right? Okay, an ability to instruct, inspire, influence people, and it's towards a goal. What is that ability made of? You will soon answer one question. What is that ability made of? So my own leadership development journey, I had a question. I wanted to know. Let me ask you a question. What does Donald Trump, fella, I want to use the examples that you can relate to. Can everybody here relate to fella? Huh? Can you relate to fella? No, they can't. Who can you? Can you relate to Beyonce? You can relate to Beyonce. So what does Donald Trump, Beyonce, I want a third person. Who can relate? You can relate to Tom Polo, right? I want home example, right? What does these three people have in common? I need a fourth person. You know Donald Trump? Okay, you can relate to VDM, right? Can you? She doesn't know what VDM is. No? Who can you now relate to? But what do, You said? Okay, what do these people have in common? What's the one thing they all have in common? Yeah, that's what they have in common. Is that not? That's what they have in common. Influence. And what is influence? What is influence? That one says it's thinking, eh? Why do people think like this? Why do you, I don't understand that kind of thing. You think like a man. What is influence made of? If somebody says, I want to increase my influence, what is he supposed to pursue? If you don't know the substance that leadership is made of, you say influence is made of power. What is power made of? What is power? Huh? Power is the ability to cause change. Okay? Influence is a kind of power. What kind of power is influence? I like that. Social power. So that's the ability to cause social change. Is that not? If power is the ability to cause change. Did somebody say I want to annex? What gave these people power? What gave, let's pick each of them. Sit down. What's the first one I called? Trump. Why is Trump powerful or influential? Why is he powerful or influential? You said what? Wealth. Is that what he's known for primarily? It's position. You don't think so? Anybody who is the president of United States must be influential because United States is powerful. Is that correct? Huh? Primarily, I'm not saying he lacks other power. How he uses the office, which is the subject of last time when I talked about leadership authority. So what gives somebody power? Let's talk about the factors, the things that give somebody power. So let's start. Number one, position can give you power, right? Number two, what else can give you money? Money can give you power. Is that not? Number three, what? Who is saying that? Who said influence when we are dealing with influence? Huh? What can give you a position of authority can give you power? Whether you're a dummy, once you are made the pastor of this church, people are bound to listen to you in some ways. Is that not? There's position, power. What other thing? Yes. Financial power. Huh? Then there is intellectual power, which is what you know. And there is, yes, there is. You like to pronounce it. You're so spoiled. I'm just joking. Okay. I tried to say almost everything. Don't mind me, please. Okay, so there's what we call now position power, financial power, intellectual power, sexual power, which is attracting. Likability is sexual power, please. I hope you understand that now. What again? That people, do you understand? Does that make sense? In this context, we will not call it spiritual power. Otherwise, we can say medical power, or we can say engineering power. We'll go to many specialized skills that give. We'll go to powers. Then, what else? There's still something missing. There's might. If you have gun, do you have power? Somebody who has physical strength has power. Is that not? Might. Some people say might makes right. Is that not? How many have we named now? 5. Power that comes from money, power that comes from being liked, power that comes from a specialized skill, which is intellectual or something you know, power that comes from position of authority, and power that comes from might. So, if these are the basis of power, if somebody holds a gun to your head, will you do what they ask? Huh? So the person has caused change. Is that not? So that person, has they influenced you? So, They have. Is that leadership? Is leadership power? That's the question. Yeah, good question. Is leadership power? Is leadership power? Is what? Well, it's power now, before we qualify the kind of power, because a leader, you say, has the ability, right, to make somebody move from one place to a definite or a predetermined goal. Is that not? Is that not demonstration of power? Huh? Is that not? That power is what we now call influence. It's not doing so by force, right? Though, is he doing that by force? You said what? Not in all cases. So we need to qualify that leadership, though being influence, is not negative influence. We need to qualify it. Are you following? Huh? Leadership is the ability or the capacity, I would like to put it, to influence or inspire people positively. If you say purposefully, it's still positively. Are you following what I mean? So leadership is that power that influences people positively. So who is a leader? If we have defined that as leadership, who is a leader? It will be the person who has the capacity to influence people positive. You must put that positively. Is that not? So, when I call those people, for example, if their influence is positive, they all have power, but whether that power is positive or not is what makes them a leader or not a leader. Because what we know generally about leadership is that if somebody occupies a position of power, is a leader. That's what we think. Is that not? So, for example, if you are a parent, you are a leader. If you are the governor, you are a leader. Lead us well. So if you are anybody, do you understand? But we have seen people who don't have the position, but their skill gave them the influence. You can have a master violinist, or you can have, for example, most generations know Michael Jackson. I don't know about this new generation. Michael Jackson. He was not voted in. He used a skill to gain influence. Is that not? His ability to entertain. It included music, but it was more than it. The ability to entertain extraordinarily gave him what we call star-like ability, okay? Is that not? There are some people who have power now because they have invented something that we all need. Instagram, Facebook, is that not? Okay. Yes.
Now, this question just went off in my head because of something you mentioned now. When I defined leadership before, every time I get to the word positively or purposefully, I usually would choose the word positively because I feel like purposefully purpose can be neutral. You said that if you use the word purposefully or positively, you are saying the same thing. And by the definition of purpose, in my head, if somebody predetermined to do something, that person has a purpose for doing that thing. So question is, purpose is always positive as leadership is?
You are missing words. I don't mean purpose as the word intentionally. Everything has a predetermined purpose. And every predetermined purpose is positive. Yes, it is divine. I didn't say that leadership is the ability to lead people, inspire people intentionally. That's not what I said. I said positively, or I say purposefully. I didn't say intentionally. Even I know that in English, the verb purposeful refers to the purpose of the person. But I'm talking about leadership from the standpoint of the purpose of everything is positive. Does that make sense to you? Huh?
When we say purpose is reason, is the thing that is...
Whose reason? You are having the same struggle with the word leadership. Somebody could say leadership is the ability to influence people, and it's a complete definition. A well-known author of leadership says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. I question that because I question the fact that influence can be misconstrued. I don't have good leadership in my head because I don't have bad leadership. But I know in people's conversation there is good and bad leadership. Do you understand what I'm saying? But my goal is to teach people that leadership cannot be bad. The word itself means good influence. The word itself means good influence. To show the difference between people who are presumed, I'm dealing with the prevailing misunderstanding. Because that subtle difference is a whole lot. Take, for example, you can have somebody who is popular, who thinks he's a leader, who has global acclaim, who has, do you understand? And you can have somebody who is just a mother at home with 2 kids, who doesn't think she's a leader. Is this confusing you? Huh? Does it make sense? So I said, influence is not sufficient to describe leadership. You must qualify the type of influence. Because since we have looked at the basis of power, about 5 of them, anybody who has them can influence anybody.
Influence is neutral.
Yes.
Power is neutral.
Yes.
Leadership is not neutral.
Yes.
Purpose, therefore, is not neutral.
Yes.
That's the thing I was trying to clarify, because purpose in my head...
You are talking about purpose as a word that can be used as
reason.
Okay, so when I say this person is living purposefully, what do I mean?
This person is, my head.
Do I mean that this person is doing what he thinks? Or I mean that this person is living in line with the way he is designed?
In line with the way he is designed.
Can that ever be negative?
No.
Does that make sense to you? Yes.
Okay, we are talking about persons now, but I want to relate it to maybe things. Okay, something that came into my mind, like a knife is designed to do good.
Do you lead a knife? Leadership is always about people, the ability to inspire people. Is that not?
Yes.
The change in people can bring about change in situations. But you never lead things. You lead people. Yes.
Sir, I want to ask a question. From this definition of leadership, is it safe to say that, or can we now say that persons like Adolf Hitler is not a leader?
That's what I say.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And the world thinks he's a leader.
Yes.
He has power. He influenced people. He didn't influence them positively, so he's not a leader. Call him anything. He's a ruler, he's a governor, he's a whatever, but he is a manipulator. Because leadership, positive influence is inspiration. Negative influence is manipulation. And manipulation can achieve result. Do you get it? Manipulation can achieve result. So which brings me back to leadership values. The difference between a leader and a non-leader who has result is values. Because they both work the principles of leadership and they both have the skills of leadership, but their hearts are not the same. They don't have the same value system. To manipulate people, you must value things more than people. You must value your success more than people. Okay. I was raised in a church, in my home church. The leadership style is manipulation. No, I say that without apology. In that institution, the leader is never wrong. The leader is never reprimanded. So, the position of authority is made the ultimate requirement for leadership. Do you understand what I mean? And if you study the environment, you find out that the organization values the organizational goal more than the people's development. Who will say people didn't come for a meeting but they should bring offering? It's manipulation. It shows you what people value. Don't you think so? Somebody can be wrong, but if he's a giver, his sins are forgiven. Some of you, you respect your boss because you fear losing what you will get from him. That's not inspiration. The person you don't fear, like your husband, you don't give him that much respect. Your boss can call into the office and wash you on Monday morning. You'll be angry, but you will not do the things you would do if it was your husband. Because you fear the consequence. A leader, let me use the word so you can understand the word. If I say a true leader, because there's no such, just like we're saying there are true Christians. No, there's no such thing. There's a Christian. And there's someone who's not a Christian. You are either a believer or you are not. To put the word true, though we use it in conversation, it's a contradiction. Say a real child of God. What does that mean? You don't do anything to be a child of God except believe. Which one is now real? Which one is now fake? What they're actually talking is either a mature or an immature believer. Is that not? So not real. That should not be the word. Do you get it? So I said, it took me years to learn and discover these things. I wasn't told. Leadership development is 3 dimensions. The first is the heart. The heart of the leader deals with the values of leadership. The heart of the leader. So if you put Adolf Hitler here, and you put Mother Teresa, how many of you know Mother Teresa? And you put Mother Teresa, their values are different. One cannot watch the poor die. The other can kill for position of power. Do you understand what I mean? So, influence is not proof of leadership. What is the proof of leadership? Positive influence. Is that not? Be asking. You have questions. Your face looks troubled. Ask, because that's what the purpose of this class. If you have concern, say it, and let's look at it. You have not been in my class. You seem more confused. You seem to be dealing with English than the concepts I'm teaching. What do you mean by that purposeful influence and purposeful impact? Explain it, let me see.
No, what you said is that influence is not the proof of leadership. The proof of leadership is purposeful influence.
Is that what I said?
Positive influence. It's purposeful influence, the same thing. We already agreed that purposeful or positive is the same thing.
But what I said, is that what I said?
No, so positive influence is the proof.
That's what I said. Why
Yes.
not stay with what I said? Because that's what you are questioning.
Positive influence is the proof of leadership.
Yes.
Not influence.
Let's even go with purposeful. What is the purpose of power?
To empower.
It's to empower. So if you lead somebody and they're not empowered, have you led the person? The proof that you have led you is that you become a leader. If I lead you and you become another manipulator as I am, I can have 1,000 manipulators and I've not produced one leader. Do you understand what I mean? And that's a lot of influence, is that not? That's a lot of influence. So, for example, you have believers. You are discipling people and they are not becoming like Christ. They're just becoming smart users of other people. That is not positive. That is not purposeful. Do you understand what I mean? Look, you produce who you are. Leaders produce after their kind. It's a law. But back to what I was saying. So, values. I said principles are external, values are internal, right? Principles are in nature, values are in people, right? Principle is one, Value is many. Is that not? Okay. How do you know what somebody values? Values show in behavior. Values don't show in words. Values show in behavior. Values are heart related. Values cannot be taught. Does that make sense to you? What does it mean that values cannot be taught? Who said yes? So that I can explain. Values cannot be taught. By that I mean that you cannot acquire a value because you are taught that value. Values are really adopted. You know, that's why we say you cultivate a value, right? If you see a person of integrity and you admire him, seeing him or him telling you the value, the importance of integrity is not what will make you a person of integrity. You must practice. You must. Do you understand what I mean? Does it make sense to you? Principles can be taught. Values are caught. Okay? So, does it make sense to you? So, we lead at 5 levels. So, let's try to look at those levels. If you want to, I've told you leadership development is 3-dimensional, okay? It is the cultivation of leadership values, the acquisition of leadership principles. I think you actually start with acquisition of leadership principle, cultivation of leadership value, and the practice of leadership skills, right? If you keep on learning about leadership, practicing the skills of leadership, and adopting the values of leadership, you keep becoming a better leader. That's it. And you are tested every day, everywhere, as long as there are people. If there's nobody, you are there. There's personal leadership at work. Is that not? So, let's look at the 5 levels where we develop leadership. The first is personal leadership, right? That is where you are leading yourself. What do you need to know as a principle to lead yourself effectively? The principle is that all other leadership depends on this leadership. Do you get it? That you are only effective in leadership to the extent that you lead yourself effectively. I think it's the high-end law of leadership. It's the number 1. Your leadership development is to the extent that you can lead yourself. This now is not a value. It's universal. It doesn't care whether you want to lead yourself or not. Do you understand now? It's a working, operating principle of leadership that no one can lead beyond their capacity to lead themselves. No one. Jesus said it. You can't remove the mote in somebody's eyes when you have not removed the beam in your own eyes. He said to love your neighbor as you have loved your. So you see, it goes back to you. You see that? So that is a principle of leadership that you must know. What will it do for you? It will make you always examine self-leadership first. Always. If that is the principle, is general, what do you need to value at the personal level? You said what? Why integrity? Why integrity? Effective personal leadership It's when your values and principles align, and that is what integrity is. You are forever trying to line up with, so that your personal practices and universal laws are one. Is that not? The person, can you devote somebody who is of high level of integrity, is naturally of high level of personal leadership? Don't you think so? Hmm? So the value at the personal leadership level is what? Integrity. Integrity is more than telling the truth, though. That's honesty. It's being whole. So it has a lot to do with first knowing yourself. Okay. So this principle of personal leadership is, let's just put personal leadership here so that we don't write much. Personal leadership. You need, the value is integrity, right? What do you need? What skill do you need to lead yourself effectively? Self-regulation. Self-regulation. Which is self-control, right? Self-control. So if somebody wants to grow as a person in leadership, he must, I say leadership is the acquisition of leadership principles. So where can you read about leadership principle? Where can you find leadership principle, a personal leadership principle that is inspiring? Number one is in biographies. Biographies are all the same stories told in different ways. How average, ordinary people did supernatural feat overcoming themselves. If you read a biography of somebody you admire, it will leave you inspired. Don't you know that? To explain what I mean, the best leadership book is the Bible. Explain what that means. I want to see how you think. With reference to what I just said now, about personal leadership, the best leadership book is the Bible. You see, your Bible for you are just religious books. What greater story than the story of Jesus? In this world, just tell me one. It doesn't inspire you because it's from a religious lens. No, I'm telling you. Do you know that thing happened? Do you know that thing happened? Huh? You know that the one person who has the greatest influence intergenerationally now in this world is that person, Jesus. Do you know that? As history, I'm not talking about your religion. Do you know? Have you seen that kind of person that when they railed against him, he did not rail back? Have you seen? If you read the Bible, you see how self-organized, controlled. Have you seen that kind of person before? Have you seen that kind of person in your day-to-day life? He did not show one iota of fear in any circumstance. You know why that's not inspiring to you? You know why? You look at it like Shrek, like some made-up story. But when you read Elumelu, now, you will catch cool because you want to make money, Abi. You will catch cool. Moses. I did a course in Love Ministerial College called Bible Characters. Because of time, So the skill here is self-control, right? We can't finish all of it. So interpersonal leadership. What do we need to accept as an operating principle that aids leading or influencing other people? What is the principle? You must know that in nature, people don't follow people they don't feel like they are listening to them. Do you understand? Meaning, you must allow others to influence you before you can influence them. It's a natural working principle. Try it. Talk to somebody, a stranger. Ask about their welfare. Be interested in them and watch them open up. Be genuinely interested in the person. Don't probe. Try it. Be the first to be vulnerable and see how people will return that naturally. I read a book many years ago, I think the first book that I got inspired, How to Win Friends and Influence People. These are some of the classics that you will go back to. People think that to be a Christian means you cannot. See, look, if you find something the Bible wants you to become, get literature that supports the development of that thing. Because some of you, the only thing you read is the Bible, and that is your problem. Because you are really reading it religiously. You think God is happy when you open it like this. Sometimes I read the Bible 6 hours daily. And we can't see any knowledge in your life. No, you are not a vast person. You can't relate with society. And that is why when you teach the Bible, you can extract the principles and make it applicable in the contemporary society. You want to dodge into the book. There's something that is drawing you always. So the principle of interpersonal leadership is that you can only lead people to the extent that you allow people to lead you. And there's a caveat that says, don't go there and say, okay, for people to lead you, you must go as far as they can go. That's interpersonal. What is the skill? What do you need to value at that level? People. People. You're with somebody and the person doesn't feel like you are interested in the people. Over what? Because here you value, we said values are personal preferences. So you are picking one thing over the other. The thing that's contesting your attention, it is easier to be duplicitous. It's harder to be a person of integrity. To value integrity over duplicity means that you insist on being the right person, the true person at all times. Now, value people over what? Why position? Why position? Why position? If I'm dealing with you, the fact that I'm a pastor, you can stand in my way. Do you know that? That is we're dealing with you. If I'm dealing with you, the fact that I am a pastor may make me not be able to adapt to someone else because I'm locked in my head in that position. The thing that contests valuing people at the interpersonal leadership level is position. I'm the husband. I'm the this. Some people are not adaptable. Christians, by the way, Jesus said, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be wise as serpent. How is the serpent? The serpent is very adaptable. The serpent is the one thing that is never direct until it needs to cut you down. Is that not? It's never direct. And it says, I need you to be as fluid. But he wants us not to have its venom. When you meet some Christians in the midst of unbelievers, you will know that they are, well, not Christians, because that's not Christianity really. Church, religious people are very rigid people. Do you know that? Religious people are very rigid people. They even consider your adaptability as compromise. If you're adaptable, they believe you are compromised. Bring out your offering. We can't cover everything here. It's time. I would have gone. So, values are personal preferences. We've talked about integrity, and the skill that you need at the interpersonal level is the skill of what? Adaptability. Why? It's a social terrain. Interpersonal leadership is a social terrain. Anybody who's not adaptable is not sociable. Have you seen some nerds? Very intelligent bookworms who cannot relate to people, not socials. And that is one slippery area too, because somebody can, that I put that all they are is adaptable. No integrity. They don't have self-control. They're like chameleon. They meet drunkards, they drink. They meet people who are praying, they pray. They don't have guiding principles of integrity. They go here, they go here, they go here. One lady in our church did assisted birthday the other day. Did you see me dancing? Huh? Is that what a pastor should be doing? There are some people who can dance like that and they can't post it. I posted it too, do you know? There's somebody can do that privately, but they can't post it. They don't have liberty coming from knowing. They have compliance to the norms or as they think things should be. Things have left them. For example, there are some ministries many years ago who did not believe that women should wear trousers. Now, they are accommodating it in some areas in their church because they are afraid of the dying church. But they cannot preach it that you cannot wear the trouser. Do you understand? They are faithful to old memo. What has passed? Someone told me that in a particular church in the city, I can't call the name of the church, a branch was doing very well. And the people in the main church were constantly criticizing that branch. That they are not following the gospel. Because in that branch, the thing that is not done at the headquarters is done in that branch. And the bishop is the one supporting that guy to be doing those things. And the bishop told him that, I can't say these things at my age. But it's what we knew then. But you see, is that integrity? What is wrong for him to come out one day and say, look, we preach these things. It was based on what we knew then. When he says that, they'll throw him stone. Because you don't know people. When zealots gather you, people before who are bush people and now identify Christianity as bush behavior. They feel at home in that religion. If you try to introduce anything different, somebody somewhere is still preaching that if a woman wears wig, it's from the river. Somebody. Have you given your offering? Stand to your feet and let's close. According as